Jax will find rock bottom and be like, oh no, there's something under that rock. It's a labyrinth of rock bottom for him. It's never gonna end. Coming up on the Valley After Show.
He has not paid our mortgage since May. My mortgage used to be around $8,000. I pay $18,000 now.
Because of his taxes.
People make mistakes in taxes every single day.
You didn't chug a bottle, but you took a swig out of a bottle, exactly.
Exactly. He was being the puppet.
If I had done what he did on Halloween, you wouldn't see me drinking again.
I think you're a narcissist, and I'm happy I don't have to deal with you.
He had total control over me.
You don't have to tell me who you're going with, but you should tell me where you're going and what time you'll be home.
Keep your wedding ring on all the time, and then you can start talking.
You go after my friends, I will you up.
Jasmine heard that you take your ring off sometimes at bars.
I heard this with a group of friends that he wasn't friends with anymore.
Luke had requested to follow a bunch of Jason's friends on Instagram.
The Valley After Show starts right now.
We were going to a park and I was going to see Cruz. I was so happy, but I was also going to have this conversation with Brittany. And I was very scared to have this one-on-one. So I said, there needs to be a third party there, my therapist.
I just stayed at the park longer with the therapist, and it felt like it was very one-sided because these people run the facility that he was in, so they were hearing all of his stuff.
I told her that I was, living at the house in the beginning, and I was making Brittany go to Airbnb to Airbnb to Airbnb. And I thought, listen, as a part of this growth thing, I want my son and I want Brittany to be in the home that they're used to.
He tells me that he signed a lease, and he was like, didn't I, to the therapist, and she was like, because I wouldn't have even believed it unless because Jax lies about everything. And I'm like, you guys let him sign a lease while he has been in rehab? Then I find out it's next door to Tom Schwartz.
Oh my God.
My real estate agent is like, listen, if you're gonna move out of your house and you want a nice transition into another place, instead of going to an apartment, which he's done, he told me it was absolutely effing miserable to go from an amazing home into an apartment. It put him into a funk. So I was like, how the hell am I gonna go into an apartment and not get into a funk? And then this building came up and he's like, you should jump on this now because these people are gonna take it. We found a gold mine. I mean, an absolute gem. We both it looks just like our homes.
Can you not say we when you're talking about where we live?
What is up with the men in the 40s going backwards?
It is so weird.
Brittany, for months, begged him to get out of that house. So it would have been so beneficial for Cruz to still be in his comfort zone, in his home. Uprooting Cruz like that was something she had to do. So it feels like now you're willing to do it, but you weren't willing when it would have greatly benefited your child.
And I was thinking of my kid. I don't want my son jumping around from Airbnb to Airbnb. I still stand by it. My therapist stood by it. We honestly did not see that conversation going the other way. It was bad. It was bad. She stormed off.
On what planet would a therapist be like, this is a great idea?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go get the papers for you.
Maybe don't sign something where you are gonna owe thousands of dollars every month until you're a little bit more clear-headed.
Yeah, it's because he even manipulated them. He charmed them. Let's be real. Who knows what he told these people?
I just thought in my head that this was the right move. I told my therapist, and I go, how do you feel about this? She goes, that's a great move. Because I thought, man, what was I doing? Making Brittany jump from Airbnb to Airbnb with my son.
But what really bothered me is that he knew how much money I was spending on these rental properties.
Mind you, she was living in mansions, okay? It was not like she was living in a little shack, okay? She was moving from Airbnb to Airbnb, but they were beautiful homes, okay? So let's make that very clear. And I look back on it now and I still think this was the right move. I was 17 days in on a 30-day stint. Okay, so where the hell was I gonna go? So I was talking to my real estate agent and I said, listen, there's a brand new building that just opened up. Tom was there. This is right up my price range. Why don't we get this? Let's lock it down. I think this will be a good move. I think Brittany will really appreciate the fact that I'm standing up, being a man, leaving the home and going somewhere else, a mile down the road, so I'm right there if she needs me. I'll even have the place, even before I get out, I'll have it signed, sealed, delivered, and she'll be happy with this. It totally backfired on me.
And I had that rental property I was in. There was still 2.5 months left on that property that I had to prepay for, and it was a lot of money. That means that I have wasted all this money whenever I could have been in my own home where I needed and should have been the entire time, but Jax wouldn't leave because of his ego and made me and his son move out.
And he wasn't paying for it while he was in it.
I didn't know that she was signing a 3-month lease on an Airbnb. I was unaware of this. Should I have asked her ahead of time? Yeah, I probably should have, but I thought she was just going month to month.
He literally knew she had just signed a 3-month lease. she could not get out of.
I was like, well, why can't you just ask for the money back or re-rent it out? Like, it can't be that big of a deal. You know, you just re-rent it out.
I think it was a control thing for her. She's like, oh, here's Jax trying to control me again by putting a plan together without telling me.
Do you know how many times I said to Jax, why don't you stay in the rental properties? You're paying the mortgage, I thought. I'll still pay for the rental property. You move out and let me and Cruz come home. And he wouldn't. Even if I offered for him to stay in the places that I had already paid for, he wouldn't do it. So
no,
then
of
for
course
him
not, 'cause
to
that's something you wanted.
Yeah.
And he can't control you if he gives you what you want.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your wedding ring, Jason.
This wedding ring?
I'm shocked to see you have it on.
Bro, you said that, it's like, put my thumb down just to check.
Literally every single person in our group and adjacent to our group has been talking about for a year that when Jason goes out, that he takes his wedding ring off.
Jasmine, who is close friends with Jason, she's the one who had heard this and had brought it up.
Right, and she still stands by it.
And she still stands by it.
I heard it from Zach first.
Yes, I did tell Kristen. I tell Kristen everything. Kristen,
Yes.
There's not anything in my life that Kristen does not know.
I think you told Kristen, but I had a conversation with her too. And then I think she said she knew from you, but I did have that conversation with Kristen.
We both told Kristen.
Yeah.
A group of Jason's friends were upset with Janet about something, and it was said by somebody.
I heard this 3 years ago at a birthday party with a group of friends that he wasn't friends with anymore at the moment. A lot of things were said. Not just him taking off his ring, but I took it as just like a friend being really upset at his friend, you know, like pissed off that this is their big birthday and you're not there and you're supposed to be there and you're not there because of his wife. Like, it was a lot of talking.
And Melissa heard it.
Melissa heard it too. We all were just like, there's a lot of things being said.
Jasmine at first tried to throw out a couple of Jason's friends that, you know, are not in this group, friends that he's known for years and years. And when we asked them, you know, about it, they had no idea.
But then Janet called the friends, and I know the friends she's talking about, and they were like, we have never said that ever.
They were like, we've absolutely never said that, thought that, like, where is this coming from? And then one of the guys that Jasmine named actually texted Jasmine and said, like, hey, what's going on? I've never said this. And Jasmine's response was, I didn't say any of that. Janet's the one making this mess. And I'm like, wait, I started a rumor that my husband takes his own ring off? I like rumors, but not about me.
You gotta stay relevant, make up your own rumors.
Melissa made a good point. You know, I was really upset. I was like, babe, this is really gonna suck if like these people are actually gonna not own up to this. And she said, well, Jasmine, what do they have to gain to actually tell him the truth right now? They're in a good place with him right now. They're scared of Janet. They're like, we don't want to deal with it.
They have denied it over and over.
Right.
And Jasmine's like, well, you're lying because I know this for a fact from multiple sources that this is true.
You don't know if it's true or not, but yeah, like, do we believe it? Probably not. But also, that's a very specific thing to say about somebody.
Honestly, I tried to get Kristen to not say it because I'm like, look, we don't know if this is true. We have a name that supposedly said this. Why don't we try to go to him, see if it's legit or not?
He added my buddy on Instagram before I said anything about Danny. So this is like premeditated. Okay, this summer we're taking out Jason. You know what I mean? Like, that really rubbed me the wrong way.
Luke had like requested to follow a bunch of Jason's friends that he's never met on Instagram because he was trying to dig up information, or they were trying to dig up information on Jason.
I clicked add, it was requested. I don't even know if he ever accepted it. But that turned into, now I'm digging up dirt on them, when in reality, I was trying to keep Kristen from saying it. Like, let's find out if this is true.
Luke said himself, like, the plan was to vet the rumor, basically, to see if there's any credibility to it before dropping it on me. And then he was mad at Kristen because she dropped it without doing his due diligence to see if it was accurate. But I was like, dude, ask me. I've seen rumors about Luke on the internet, like we all have. Like, people were posting negative stuff about him on the internet from his hometown and things. I would never like bring that up and say like, what about this? Because there's nothing. And I would never even look into it further. And I never had shown him anything in the past that I'm a liar or that like I'm like a creep or sneak. We've never gone out and I've like hit on girl. Like, you know what I mean? I've given him no reason to not trust me.
The fact that the best thing that Detective Doute could get was Jason sometimes goes to bars and takes his ring off with no proof other than it's the streets. I feel pretty good about my marriage because if my marriage passes the Detective Doute test, all right.
You're good.
That's a lot of dedication.
Honestly, I want as many hours in the day as Kristen Doute has.
After Santa Barbara, Danny, Luke, and I met for burgers and to talk. And one of the things I wanted to discuss was drinking, and I didn't want to single out Danny so much, but I wanted to be like, we all are drinking. Like, I think it's time we maybe drink a little less. If you have too much to drink and you pass out, that's fine. That can happen. It's when the next day you gaslight everybody and say, I had one seltzer and one shot.
I did not get drunk. I had a shot and a White Claw, and I was going to take a nap regardless.
You chugged the bottle in a closed pantry door.
I didn't chug a bottle. I took a swig out of a bottle.
You didn't chug a bottle, but you took a swig out of a bottle, exactly.
Exactly.
He's calling that crouched down swig, with the closet door closed, a shot, which is like not how I consider a shot. And when it was just bold-faced lies in response, that's when it kind of set my plan off track.
I was like, what are you trying to say here? And he was just, all over the place.
Then I feel like, I don't know, then it makes me feel like there is something bigger going on.
Trying to do this, trying to say that.
Jasmine felt triggered by the fact that the last time she saw you in that state, like being very drunk, things happen. It's like a little PTSD from Halloween. Well, do you know what I'm talking about? You apologized to her for it, right?
Exactly. And then he was getting really frustrated, and then I couldn't get out and it's like veins are popping out, and I was like, aren't you a lawyer, dude? For him to come at me as hard as he was, I was very surprised and caught off guard.
He's saying he's confused because at that point, his story is that he had 2 drinks. So it's like, why are we coming up with this? But in actuality, he had 25 drinks.
You're bringing up something that happened almost a year ago.
Danny approached Jasmine, put his hand on her thigh and said, get daddy a drink.
You were inappropriate with me and her.
I have gone and addressed it over and over and over the best way I can. I am so sorry.
It's coming up because it's the behavior. It's not even the situation. It's the continuing behavior that leads to those situations.
I didn't even know that she was still talking about it. She wasn't coming to me. She was going behind my back, apparently, and still bringing it up to other people.
Danny, you didn't apologize to me. I was very hurt, and the fact that Jason had my back, I think that's amazing because as a friend, I would do the same thing.
At this moment, I do believe that Danny owed you a way bigger apology than he had given. And deserved a sit down where you guys eventually have it. The thing that I don't like is that Jason went in there on this high horse.
I think he was coming from a good place. I really do, from my side. From what I do. I don't think Jason would go.
We can agree to disagree. I think he's going in ulterior motive and ulterior mindset.
Yeah, I think Janet probably sent Jason to attack to keep the heat on me. And I think that's why he was so awkward while doing it. He was being the puppet.
I don't know, maybe that speaks more to he and Nia's relationship, but Janet doesn't tell me what to do or say, and I listen.
I think that she does push him a little bit because I think Jason's a little reserved. I don't see him just saying I'm gonna go in there today and give Danny a piece of my mind. I just don't see that. But then again, I don't know. People change. Maybe this is the new Jason.
I think it's more like Aladdin and Jafar with his stick, and it's you will do with the red spinny eyes. You will do that.
Yeah, I don't think that.
Janet and I don't strategize about how to take people down. We're just out here living our lives with our friends. I only want to see him do well.
The things that I've seen out of Jason in the last 2 years have been Janet chirping in his ear because, trust me, love or hate Janet, I absolutely can and do respect that is his wife. Mm-hmm. And he's going to have her back as he should, right?
Right, they're married.
However, the way he talks to people and handles situations now is not like the Jason that I've ever known, been friends with. Janet's always been for example, even when we were really good friends, right? Janet's always gossipy, catty, louder, da-da-da-da. Jason's not. Mm-hmm. She needs things to be messy. She lives in it. Yeah. It's the way that I like to figure things out and be a social justice warrior for a cause. Janet's like that about nitty-gritty, gross, gossipy stuff.
I like that people think I have that much power. I mean, Jason is his own person. I guess it's convenient for Danny to say oh, Janet just controls Jason and puts words in his mouth. No, your behavior was so inappropriate. Jason had his own strong opinion about it.
And even at Santa Barbara, when he was drunk in the hot tub, it didn't seem like there was any issue there.
Yeah, if Janet got wasted and passed out, I wouldn't be oh, Janet's wasted and passed out. I'd probably be Janet's sleeping. I don't know. I don't think it's that big.
Well, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. When we were in Santa Barbara, I had some wine myself. But to be fair, sometimes I will experience something and then think about it later, and then my point of view will change a little bit. You know, some offhanded remark I made in the hot tub at midnight maybe isn't exactly like the stance, or maybe I look at the whole picture. If I had done what he did on Halloween, you would not see another sip of alcohol going down my throat again for the rest of my life. And I'm not saying that Danny needs to do that. I'm gonna never tell anyone to, you know, you need to do this, you need to do that. He can do whatever he wants, he's a grown man. I just know personally, yeah, if I had a situation like that, you wouldn't see me drinking again.
What's the deal with you and abs and costumes? You're always airbrushing your abs on.
Yeah, because I don't
Is that
have
gonna
them.
be a thing?
I give you a blank canvas a lot of times. I've been a fallen angel with abs, skeleton with abs, pride flag with abs, and I was a superhero, but the gay version with abs. It actually started at Kyle Tran's birthday party. She quickly did like a real quick like outline on me, because I had like 20 bucks. I was like, listen, I only got this, like, what can you do? And she was so sweet, and then we stayed friends, and she's like, hey, I have this art show, would you be my model for it? I know
funny,
most
right?
people don't think I'm a model, but I guess I am. It's free for me because she uses me as her muse.
But what does she cost? Like, what does she usually
Oh,
charge?
usually it's probably like $400 for an entire body.
But it stays on for like
But
days.
it stays on for days
keeps
if you
it on for,
want
like,
it,
days.
and it looks so good.
And
You
he will
can't
go to
tell.
the club and it stays on.
I can
It's
sweat, I
crazy.
can twerk, I can do whatever.
I need that
I could like
makeup.
rub up against this carpet.
Yeah.
And it'd still be here, not there.
I should do that.
Me too. You actually have abs though. Mine would just be like, hey.
Even when I was a full-time swimmer back in the day in high school, I never had abs. Well, and I also do like Big Macs too much to really develop full abs. So this is my one way of being like, oh my God, look, I have abs for once.
Any concern about all that makeup getting in your pool?
Zach does not get in the pool.
I don't actually like going to pool parties and getting in the pool. I will be in the shade and I will basically have all my clothes on. I just like air conditioning too much. I really don't like to be hot.
He's not gonna ruin his fake abs. He's not gonna ruin his spray tan.
Zach,
How
where'd
they
you
gonna
get
do
those swim trunks that had Brittany's face all over them?
They are my favorite swim trunks.
Stassi actually had those made for Jax. I think it was either engagement present or wedding present. And now Zach wears them all the time.
You look good in that picture.
Stassi bought 2 sizes of swim trunks because she didn't know which one would fit him. So when Jax tried them on, the smaller one fit him, and so he took those, and then I was like, well, there's a free pair of swim trunks with Brittany's face. I think this is hilarious. So it has been literally my go-to since their engagement. And I have Stassi Schroeder to thank for that.